to grow richer with each passing day. Don't believe us? Let's compare income around the world today to some of the wealthiest countries in the past. Figure 1.1 maps all of the countries with greater per capita income in 2018 than the wealthiest country in the world in 1900, the United States. The average income in much of the world is now greater than the average income in the world's richest country just over a century ago. The startling level of modern wealth comes into even clearer focus when compared to the wealthiest country in 1800, Great Britain. Almost every nation in the world, with some exceptions, mostly in sub-Saharan Africa, has a greater average income than the world's leading economy just 2 centuries ago. Modern wealth, of course, extends well beyond average incomes. Even in many of the poorest parts of the world, we have luxuries that our ancestors could have only dreamed of. Forget about smartphones and flat-screen TVs. Even our richest ancestors would have been jealous of our indoor plumbing, electricity, vaccinations, low child mortality, and long life expectancy. Think about it. Would you trade your current life for the life of a wealthy English baron in, say, 1200? Sure, you would have servants, and you'd have the social and political benefits that come with being a member of the upper crust. But you would also live in a drafty, uncomfortable castle, and you would likely have multiple children die in infancy. And let's hope you didn't get a bad bout of diarrhea. You probably wouldn't survive. If you didn't die young on the battlefield, odds are you would die of some now curable disease, such as dysentery, which killed English kings John, who reigned from 1199 to 1216, and Henry V, who reigned from 1413 to 1422. Smallpox, which killed French King Louis XV, who reigned from 1715 to 1774, and English Queen Mary II, who reigned 1689 to 1694, or plague. Some of us might trade our current lot for that of the baron, but many of us, including the authors of this book, would not. We are not heartless. There is still a tremendous amount of extreme poverty in the world. We appreciate that the entire world is not actually rich by current or historical standards. But the fact of the matter is that extreme poverty is in rapid decline. This decline began 2 centuries ago, and it has accelerated in recent decades. The trends, summarized in Figure 1.3, are striking. Just 2 centuries ago, 94% of the world lived on less than $2 a day in 2016 prices, and 84% lived on less than $1 a day. By 2015, less than 10% of the world lived on less than $1.90 a day, and that number continues to decline. To be clear, 10% of the world is still a lot of people. But as the world continues to become richer, that number will dwindle all the more. It's not just that there has been a reduction in absolute poverty as the world has grown wealthier. More and more of the world has moved further from the edge of subsistence in the last century. Take, for instance, the relatively arbitrary milestone of $10 per day in 2018 US dollars. This is not much. $3,650 per year is hardly a king's ransom. However, in most economies, it is more than enough to afford the basics of life: food, shelter, clothing, etc. This is even more true in relatively poor countries, where modest housing and food can be had cheaply. Figure 1.4 shows when each country reached this milestone. It represents a level of security unknown throughout most of human history. How did the world become rich? Why are some so rich and others so poor? This book provides some answers to these questions. The answers are by no means obvious, and they are the subject of much debate among economists, historians, and other academics. This is reflective of just how important the questions are. To alleviate poverty, we must understand wealth. We still do not have all the answers, but enough strides have been made that we can dedicate a book to answering the question, what do we know about how the world